just got your Sony. We're just going to go over the basics for how to get you guys up and running for video and get it set up, and where you guys can actually choose some of the settings instead of just having an auto. So once you have on this the main view, it's already on auto. You can see in the top left hand corner with the little green camera. That means that you can still take photos and video, but everything's adjusted to its own automatic settings. So first we're going to change the quality of the actual video. So we're going to go to menu. So from the menu we're going to go up one, then we're going to go over one to the right, then we're going to go down four. So we're on movie one, that's the section that we're at. You can see here. We're going to go down four, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to be file format XAVC SHD. And that sounds a little bit intimidating, but we're just going to hit enter on that, and that's going to give us an option. We're going to select the 4K, so because we want it in 4K, the highest resolution this camera offers. Then we're going to go down one to record settings, and we're going to change that, and that's going to be, we're going to change that to 24p, 24 frames at over one, and that's going to be 100M. So once we have the setting, we can now go back, and so to do that we can just press this top little shutter button, and that's going to take us back to this section here where we have all of our settings. So right now we still have the camera in auto, so we're going to need to change that into manual like we mentioned before. So in order to change this to manual, we're going to have to press the FN button. So right here there's FN. From here we see a little auto, we see where like the green camera is, that's already in auto, so we're going to go over there and change that to manual. So let's go over, select shooting mode, and we're going to go down until it says M, which is manual exposure. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be manual exposure. So we're going to hit enter on that. And so now when we look at the top left, it shows the camera in a gray, and then it says M for manual exposure. So the last few steps that we need to do is just change the shutter speed, the f-stop, and then the ISO. So we're first going to change the shutter speed. So to do that, all we have to do is this little scroll wheel. We're going to use this wheel, and we're going to scroll it to the left until it gets 1/50th. And that's the shutter speed that we need to have for the frames that we're using. So we're using 24 frames per second, and that needs to be doubled, which is 50. And so that's just a mathematical calculation that we always need to keep in mind when using our shutter speed if we're doing this type of video. So next we'll change the f-stop. So to do that, we'll scroll this wheel up here at the top to the left. So let's scroll that all the way to the bottom at 3.5. That's the lowest. So that'll let the most light in, and it'll also give out more blurred of the background. So the lower the number, the more blurred out the background becomes. Next, we'll change the ISO. So the ISO is conveniently on this right here on the side. Press ISO on the side, and from here it's on auto, as you can see, but we're going to actually go down, press the down button, and go down until we see an exposure that looks about right. So let's see, so let's try 500 ISO. So that, we can see this says plus 0.7, so it's a little bit overexposed. We want it to be at 0.0. So let's press the ISO button again. Let's go to 400. And then once it's at 400, let's try that. So that's plus 0.3. So it's a little bit overexposed, the camera's saying, but I think it'll do just fine with that. So it doesn't have to be exact, but just so we have and pretty fairly close to that number on 0.0, that way we have it balanced. So with that setting, that's the basic settings that we've changed it to manual, and then we've also changed the resolution to 4K, and then we've changed our settings down here on the bottom. That way it's properly set up for video. So you guys can now get shooting video, and that's just the basic setup for video. So there you go.